come in, so doing part of that. So I jumped in and I signed up with Central Casting. I started doing background work, in the studios and stuff like that. And then I worked as a PA on a show called Tales from the Crypt. And then I met Key at the time, who just won an Oscar this year in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Hmm.
And we were talking about the business because at the time, we would get a newspaper from AFTRA. They were divided at the time, Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA, which stood for American Federation of Television Radio Associates versus Screen Actors Guild. And the newspaper we got from AFTRA said there was only 0.5% of Asians on TV. I was talking to Key, and I said, you know what? I don't care. At least we have a chance, man. Let's do it. So I
Yeah.
got on the train and I started auditioning here and there. But my auditions were far few from what I wanted, because it's like once a month, once a month, while everybody's getting it twice a week and stuff. And, oh, man, it was frustrating. And I wasn't landing anything, but it was a great experience. I learned so much from it. But and money was running dry for me. And then Saigon, Miss Saigon called me again, and there was an opening for the touring company. Right before I auditioned for Star Trek for the role of Harry Kim on Star Trek Voyager. And I was this
Oh,
close. I
wow.
was this close, I was like, Harry, come on.
Yeah.
My friend Garrett Wang was successful portraying that role, and it wasn't for me. So, like I said, another great experience. And so I jumped ship. I went and did Miss Saigon, the Toronto company first, then the touring company, and then and that was a great experience because I was able to portray the lead in that show, the engineer, the character.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
Jonathan Pryce originated the character, and an
What an
amazing.
act to follow.
Oh
Jonathan
my
Price is
God,
amazing.
big shoes, big shoes. But
Yeah.
I think that was a gift uh, uh, for me to tackle something that large, because when I was
Hmm.
auditioning for it, I thought I was young for the part because I was still in my 20s and Jonathan Pryce was in his 50s at the time. And the breakdown also said, 45 and up, they're casting for this role. And when I went back in to sing for them again, they asked, what are you going to sing for us today? I said, I'm going to sing American Dream from The Engineer. And I was kind of doubting myself. I was like, no, they're never going to let me sing this. But I got a yes. They're like, okay. I flew over to the piano, American Dream, up from the top, one bar into it. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I went in, I got casted. From then on, they changed the breakdown to 30 instead of 45 and up. There's 30 from up because I
Hmm.
guess it was a different way about it. What an intriguing character to play, man. It was something that you can just sink your teeth into and just dive in head first.
Yeah.
And like I said, something that you can have a great time with. And like it was a true gift.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds it. Yeah, I had no idea you'd done that. That's, like you say, what a huge act to follow.
I understudied. Uh, uh, I won't mention his name for privacy sakes, but he played the Phantom in New York on the Broadway show Phantom of the Opera, and man, he had this beautiful operatic voice and everything, and I was just a replacement for the understudy part, and so I got to see his performance. Woo, man, I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. But yet, again, another challenge. I take these challenges because I know it's a formula for success and and for myself to grow. Whether I fail or not,
Yeah.
or have any success or fail, I know I'm going to grow from it. You know, so man, this was a great challenge for me, and I did. I locked myself in the room in Toronto every day, 5 hours a day, singing the songs in and out. Go to the theater, rehearse again, and then do the show because I was also in the ensemble. Boom, 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 boom. Uh, and then one day on April Fool's Day, they said, "You're on for the show and to play the lead." I'm like, "What? Oh, come on. You're playing a joke because I'm American, because it was the Toronto company. There's no April Fools in Canada. Come on." You know, so I went to the theater, with it, in the back of my mind, thinking that I would go on, but I thought they were playing a joke on me. But it was true. I got there and they whisked me over to the dressing room, costume, everything, and I went on, man. It was talk about adrenaline, man. I was like up here, oh, because everything was relying on me. Because that character takes the show from the beginning all the way to the end, and if you're not
Hmm.
on it, the whole show falls down. So, and every night, the company would get this marvelous standing ovation. So, uh, I was in the dressing room praying. I was like, "Dear Lord, oh man, if I can just get half of the standing ovation, oh, the company won't hang me. I could come close, and I could survive. Please, please grant me this." And it happened. I went out there, and then after the show, uh, I got this sound. I thought it was a drum roll. I thought the percussion guy was just going at it or something. A weird sound, but it was actually the seats flapping back. It was everybody standing up. So, I was thankful, man. I got an ovation, first time on April Fool's Day. Who knew?
Fantastic. So there you go again.
Yeah,
Another one of these stories
yeah.
where you seem to be thrust into something and you did it.
It worked out for
Wow.
me because after that company closed 6 months later, I think they were prepping me to go to the national touring company. Uh, and I did that for a while, and then they put me back to the Broadway company to rehearse so I can go on and have my own company for a while. And that was truly amazing. What's great about theater is if you can't conquer it that night, I mean, just little adjustments here and there, you know, there's another night.
Hmm.
It's 8 shows a week,
Yeah.
another night to party. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah.
What a thrill, man. So I'm really fortunate to have that wonderful experience.
Yeah, and I suppose to that point, very different to TV and film, where you get your rehearsals, but you once it's done, it's locked, it's on camera, it's on film, it's not going anywhere. No chance to adjust it. So
Oh,
yeah, great, great that you've had both types of experience.
oh,
So where does this take us up to? Because I think you started on TV and film sort of mid 2000s, right? Are
yeah,
we
yeah. And then I
are
came,
we approaching that, or was there still more?
well, after Miss Saigon, I came back to LA. And I had to start from the beginning, getting representation,
Right.
all this stuff, meeting people, this and that. It took a while. First of all, it took maybe a couple of years of hiatus because I was on tour with Saigon for many years. And just to get that off of your system, I didn't know. I had
Yeah.
like touring shock, once you get off tour because it's a different world that you live in when you're on
Hmm.
tour. You're in a different city. With that one, it was a first class tour. You weren't doing 1 weekers. It wasn't a bus and truck. We were so successful that we did months in cities. But everything's taken care of for you by your company manager. You know, the hotels, this and that, the shows, pretty much you're taken care of. And then once you stop, it's like cricket, cricket, cricket.
Yeah.
Like, where is everybody? What am I doing now? You know, because you've been doing it for many years, and it's like a shock. It pretty much is.
I've never thought about that, but
yeah,
I can understand why you'd need to take some time off to adjust to that. Even that time off must be been a strange experience.
Well, you know, nothing was coming in for me also. So, I was taking that time off, you know, because I didn't have a setup, you know, with representation. Casting people didn't know me, you know, so that took years. And in order to do that, you have to hit a home run when you go into the audition, or you have to make some impression on the casting director. And if you don't, they don't call you back. Maybe they might give you a second chance, maybe a little bit, maybe, you know, a couple of months down, or maybe a year or something like that. Maybe you could redeem yourself going in there, but you never know. So it took many years to win over a lot of the casting directors. But, you know, in the meantime, I was getting stronger as a human being. I was growing older. I was experiencing more life experiences, and that builds a strong a cavity in your soul when you have life experiences that you can generate from, you know, and portray that stuff on camera, because then it becomes more natural and real. So I you know, had, you know, situations like that I can reflect from, and to incorporate that. Like I said, I'm only getting better. I'm like fine wine, you know. The longer you let me breathe, the stronger I get.
Yeah.
And that's true. You don't, you can't stay stagnated as an actor. You know, you can see from your carnation just all the way up to where all the great actors are. You can see the growth, and I hope, because I feel like I'm growing each time.
Yeah, and speaking as someone who has watched all of your TV and film material in the last couple of weeks, I think my favourite piece of yours is one of your more recent ones, so I can definitely attest to that as well. But should we start talking about some of those? Maybe going back to Balls of Fury, or around about that time. I think you had a couple of pieces before that as well, didn't you? But Balls of Fury is hugely memorable for the giant blue diaper.
Well, here's the thing. At the time, I was 70 pounds more massive, you know. No, not 70. I was 70. No, I'm 150 now, but I was...
I don't work in pounds,
yeah.
so...
Oh, okay. Well, I was a little bit thicker, and the breakdown for Nagasaki was... he was a sumo type ping pong player, but he was muscular. So 2 weeks before, I was in the gym pumping up left and right. But prior to that, you know, like I said, the universe is quite nice sometimes, because prior to that, I needed a job. You know, money was running thin. And so I had some friends who were working as bouncers in a nightclub. And they said, come on, let's see, I'll get you a job. I'll introduce you to the manager. I was like, no, I'm too small. Are you kidding me? And then I walked away, and I was like trying to figure it out. And I did figure it out. So I was like, wait a second. Let me get some boots with some heels that'll raise me up. And I got some fireman boots, which is like 4 inches thick. And then I put on a sweater and a leather jacket for my interview. So I went in there and I raised myself up, you know, and I was like, Hey, how you doing? Just I need a job, man. You got a job? I'm pretty good at this, and I got a job.
Hey, what did you say
Huh?
earlier? Attitude's everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I had to pull that off. So I was working as a bouncer in this Hollywood bar off of Highland and Sunset. And but I was working out every night before I would get in there because fights would break out, and I don't know how to fight. Street fighting and all that. I was just pretending. You know, we had like earpieces. And the front bouncer guy would call it out. Okay, guys on the right. Code red on the dance floor. We would run in. I have to raise my arms up like this. Hey, cut it out, man. Get against the wall. Code red, code red. I don't know what to do, but I would try to apprehend them, this and that. But like I said, I was working out, doing all that stuff, and this audition happened, and they wanted some guy to be muscular, shirtless, So right before the audition, I just pumped up as much as possible, and I went in there, and I lucked out. They casted me as Nagasaki, you know, uh, playing ping pong in a sumo diaper, naked, with my flapping butt hanging. It was embarrassing,
It's such
man.
a fun role.
It was truly embarrassing, man, because I had to do it was a one take shot. It was a handheld shot. We were in an auditorium, maybe 300 or 400, background people, and a lot of interesting people, good looking girls there, and I, I was uh, I was nervous, man, because they had me go out just in a sumo diaper, in one of those.
Yeah.
But they yelled action, and we went at it. Me and the lead of the show, Dan Fogler.
Yukito, Nagasaki.
And he was going at it. He was going at it. I was going at it. I was going at it. Just and they didn't yell cut for a long time. We were just going, and he collapsed. So I added something in, which I felt for a long time as victory. I put my hands up and I said, Yanto! Yukito! Champion! I took this dramatic over the top, yell, and and it worked out. They yelled, cut! And then they said, everybody stay here. Harold, take a break, Harry, So I took a break and I went to Crafty and Christopher Walken was standing right there in his costume. And then he came over to me and I was like, oh no, oh no. And he came over to me and goes, hey, good job, kid. So what do you do, martial arts or something? So I was like, oh my God, I better answer this right. I go, no, 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 no. I started out just like you, singing and dancing in New York, because I know you're a song and dance man, just like me, and he just looked over at me and said,
Yeah.
he didn't know how to take it because he thought maybe I was going to talk about martial arts. And he said, well, good job, kid, and walked away. I go, thank you.
Wow.
So I had that moment with him.
Yeah. It's a great moment. Good for Christopher Walken for recognising
Oh,
it.
he's a genius. He's a genius. Just being on set with him. The first he opened with his big scene on the first day, and he just nailed it. After he was improvising on top of it, nailed that. Oh, he just made it magical each time. 4 or 5, and it was done.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Christopher
Yeah.
Walken.
And then I know you did some voice work for Call of Duty and Gary Unmarried. Gary Unmarried, you get to hold back the shredder and stop him from attacking someone. That was pretty cool.
Painters have no respect for floors. They leave splatters everywhere. Man, I wish we were playing them in the finals. I'd love to kick their asses.
Yeah, that's You know,
Francois Chow.
yeah, I got to tell you, just you know, it's always good to be accepted and part of the family, and that was a great set to to enjoy yourself and lose yourself on. So I'm really happy and fortunate enough to be a part of that show.
And then I know you did quite a few different smaller parts over the following years. I've watched through all of them, so I don't want to go and pick ones out. Really, which ones do you have particular stories of or memories of that we can talk about some more, rather than me saying, tell me about that one.
Wow.
Tell me about that one.
It just came to me right now.
Oh, I can.
I did a show. I did a show with Molly Shannon from Saturday Night Live, and this was a bizarre character. I played a door guy who becomes a stripper, roller skater, and he goes into this dream sequence where he goes into this strip mode for comedy's sakes. So they had me on roller skates, taking off this one-piece outfit in one of those stripper thongs. Once again, I'm showing my ass.
Holy guacamole, it's Sammy Stallion!
Come on, people, let's dance! And my body
Once again, stripping down. It's becoming a theme.
And I have this slow-mo with Molly Shannon, who I really respect a lot. She's really, just a wonderful person, brilliant. She's funny as hell. And I'm in there slow-mo dancing with her naked. It's just, it's unbelievable. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Molly Shannon. Woo.
Yeah.
And it's called Ghost Girls. You can
so many cool
on the internet or something.
Ghost Girls. That's that's one of the two that I haven't checked out yet. But yes, I will definitely check that one out. And it was around about that time you were in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, looking very uncertain as one of the cops was. Well, didn't he end up buying a burner phone off you? I think, but.
This is an amateur job. Everybody knows you break in when the owner's there. That way you have guaranteed access to the safe and you can kick his teeth in to send a message.
Okay, why don't you just...
Oh, sure, you can slit his throat, but then what are you going to do with all the blood?
We'd leave it in his body where blood lives, because we're cops.
Oh, right, we're cops. And don't worry, sir. We're going to catch these bastards. Or my name isn't Paul Sneed. Adrian Pimento. So, what'd they take?
About $15,000 worth of stuff. TVs, cameras, a bunch of prepaid cell phones.
Ooh, you sell burner
That
phones?
was a marvelous role.
It's great. Like I said, it's they say comedy is one of the hardest things. And I agree. It is. To get on that wonderful tone that everybody else is on, and create that moment, and to get a laugh or receive one. And I find myself, wait a second, hey man, I'm getting to party with these Saturday Night Live actors, and and there's Andy Samberg. He's brilliant at what he does, and I got to spend some time with him. So how magical was that? It was great,
and it really. That scene for me really showed the fact that so much in comedy is the reacting, and you didn't have that many lines, but a lot of what the other guys were saying was funny because of your expressions and what you're throwing at them. Like, what the are you saying? So yeah, I thought you made that scene. You sold it.
We were all having fun, joking around, telling each other jokes and stuff like that right before, just to lighten up the load and ease the day. And and we were all telling each other jokes. And I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I told one of a joke that let me pay tribute to him. He passed away last year before his time. My good friend Richard Allen Chan. he wrote this joke, and anytime I can pull something out of the hat, it's one of his jokes. And here it goes. This is for Richard Allen Chan, and I'll try to do it like him. Oh yeah, I used to own a Chinese restaurant, and my best customer was Jesus and his apostle. Oh man, nothing but trouble. He come in all day. All he wanted was water. More water, more water. Jesus, you're nothing but trouble. You don't order appetizers. You don't order entrees. All you want is more water. What's going on? He would turn the water into wine. Yeah. I said, you gotta go. Come on. You and your friends, you gotta go. Richard Allen Chan, ladies and gentlemen.
And delivered by Harry Yee. So you say you're not a comedian, but one of the you seem to have had a couple of roles in the last few years where you've been singing karaoke, but the first one of those was in Great News, where again you played it straight. You played it straight, standing next to somebody delivering the more comic lines, but I felt that it's just stood there belting out that number. And there's I forget the actress's name, but the woman saying circle with a line over it.
Oh, well, that's great writing.
Desperately trying to sing Korean.
Great writing.
Yes. Yes. It's such a funny.
First of all, it's Tina Fey from once again Saturday Night Live. It's her show.
Squiggle, squiggle, circle, line thing that looks like a table. Can I pick the next song?
No.
And how exciting, So for me, to work with her, it was just. So I had to come up with something. In the beginning, you get like little bits thrown at you, but you better take that and make it big. You know what I mean? Make it as wonderful as possible for the audience. So I had to get that laugh, and first from the casting director, and then get on set and do it for the director. Mm-hmm. So I won the casting director over. Then I got on set, and I won the director over. He goes, "Oh yeah, you're doing it like a Japanese businessman." Yeah, okay, whatever. But for me, I think it was the timing most important. You know what I mean? It's a bump. 1-2 punch, and you get the laugh. You know what I mean? Pop, 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 ha 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 ha. Because it was basically, she goes, I'm singing, all in Korean, and then she comes in like Miss Know-It-All. Hey, can I sing that? I can sing that. What is that? Circle, circle, square, square. This and that, and that's pretty much like Asian writing. Circle, circle, square, slice, slice. All that stuff. So I did this take. I waited for the timing to come in. When she said it, I opened up and I looked over with side, eyes over there, and I said, "No." It was just it was a 1-2 punch, for me that I thought, and I was fortunate enough that I was able to punch it in stronger than everybody else. Who knows?
Yes.
Oh.
And the other
Go ahead.
The other karaoke thing that I was thinking was Goliath as well, which I haven't seen any of Goliath. I skipped to your scene, so I do not understand why this character keeps walking into a karaoke bar and you're there in the background. But I guess.
Well.
I guess you got to go in there and sing for a few episodes?
Yeah, it's the tone of the show because, in the other season, they had, these performers come on from the casino and singing. So it gives a little break and you can see some, something that's part of the story come out in the performance state. So it's a genius way to go in and keep writing that story. But in my sequence, I didn't know because I came in to sing one song, and I thought that was it, on there. But they invited me back to come in and sing another song, which was great. But it was Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time. I was like, wait a second, that's a high song. Can I do it? And then, like I said, attitude is everything. So I said, oh no, I'll challenge it. I'll give it a go. I'll try my best. And it kind of worked out, but I only got like a week to rehearse and to go in there and then shoot it, not just singing it. And that was my first time singing in front of anybody that song, because originally the character that's in that scene, her fiance who gets killed sings that song in the wedding, so it was a reminder for her to explode.
Right.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm part of the story. I'm writing it, you know. So I was like, all right, great. I went home. I thought that was a done deal. They called me back, you know, to sing another song. There's 3 songs, and this was a Billy Joel song, Big Shot, big song too. I was like, man, how am I going to top this? So, like I said, another challenge. I was like, wow, I had a week to prepare, you know. And for me to make it original, I want to change the sound of the beginning. You know, I made it more, and I understood what the director wanted, because it was a bar that the main character would go to and drink and find his world there. And they would do scenes at the bar. In the meantime, you would hear me singing. And for me to make it work, I had to do it really good, because they didn't say anything to me, but I figured it out. Like if it was a bad karaoke guy, it would kind of distract the scene, you know? So I had to go in there and make it amazing. And for me to do that, like the first note had to be crucial. So instead of going, well, you know, I went in there even stronger. I went in, well, you went uptown riding in your limousine with your fine Clark Avenue clothes. You had a Dom Perignon in your hand and a spoon up your nose. So I knew that was going to take it. It was like way up there and everything else. But it's a song. So I knew, I kind of felt, man, that's the way to go, man. Let me try to do it that way. All of it didn't make it onto the film, I know, for story's sakes, but it worked in the scene. I hope, you know, I got a lot of good feedback from it. So, you know, I was happy with it, and I was thankful, because I would not normally sing those songs. And so I was, it was a good way to dive into those beautiful songs, you know, artistry in motion, that's what they call it.
So I mentioned earlier on that, because you said you keep going from strength to strength, and you said, and I mentioned that one of my favourite roles of yours was one of your most recent ones, which is the appearance you did on Mr. Mayor with Ted Danson. And I'm going to throw to a clip here, because I can't describe it, but there's just your exit from that, from those scenes. It's just one of the funniest things that I've seen you do.
Oh my God, is this real? I'm 6 days sober!
Oh my, I am so sorry.
But can you tell me about how you got involved in Mr. Mayor and any memories of those days working on it?
Well, like I said, you know, I was very fortunate that I worked on Tina Fey's show, Great News, before. So this was her vehicle. This was her show. And we had Ted Danson. To be on the set with him was just amazing. What a great guy. Man, he's so funny, first of all, but humble and just unique in his own way.
Cryptocurrency I'm really into is called Batman coin. And if you're looking to buy some, I'm looking to sell all of mine.
Well, it sounds wonderful.
And I pretty much lucked out, because, you know, within the audition, everything during that time we were doing self-tapes because of the pandemic. So I had a chance to do that audition as many times as I pleased, because it was me taping myself, and I picked out the best one. But it was a scene where I'm taking a drink and I have to spit it out, which was written on paper.
That moment.
And said, is this for real? I'm 6 days sober, which I thought was a funny line.
I'm 6 days sober.
Well, you know, you never know until you get to the set how things are going to work out. So when I auditioned, I didn't do it the way we shot it. I did it in a way where I knew I can capture them, and in a way, I did the lines and everything. But as I left the screen, I went into the bathroom door and said some improv lines like, you know, hey, you know where the first aid is? I'm in a lot of trouble. You know, and then I slammed the door. Really, because I'm playing a character within the character in what they think, you know, I'm supposed to be. So I knew if I did that, you know, timing had to be right. You know, as soon as I exited the screen, I would go, and then bang! I banged the door with an empty screen. So I knew if I can't get them with that one, you know, it's not for me. So it worked out. We didn't shoot it that way, but I kind of tweaked it a little bit at the end, where I made it funny with the slamming door sound at the end, you know, because it made it look like I was rushing off to do something else, to, you know, explain myself in my situation. You know, so I thought in advance how that scene would end out, but it turned out completely different, and it was great. We didn't do that many because of the spitting out of the champagne, but I got a good compliment from Ted Danson. You know, way to go, kid. You know, for doing that, because I had to stand up and run out and do that crazy action sequence on that, and that just came through. I was like, I'm not going to run down these stairs. Let me flabbergast down there, you know, like a little Jello putty, you know. You know, that's the only way to make it funny on there. So, you know, like I said, you know, just my experience and the things that I saw in the past. You know, that's basically a move from the Three Stooges, kind of at the end. But you know, just changing the energy a little bit.
Yeah, fantastic. And of course, as I said at the top of the show, you're now in Fool's Paradise, which has just come out. So what can you tell us about that?
Oh, wow. Well, you know, Charlie Day wrote a satirical comedy about Hollywood almost 10 years ago. And in 2019, he finished the movie. And I wasn't a part of it, you know. I didn't even audition for it. I didn't hear about it. I knew nothing of it. And then the pandemic hit. And we came to a screeching stop. The whole world did. And you know, filming just progressed a little bit, little by little. We came up with the vaccine, so we were able to work. And 2 years passed after he finished everything. And I think he spoke to Guillermo del Toro and said, you know, hey, I have these new ideas. Should I do a reshoot? And he said, yes, you should. Listen to your soul, listen to your heart. So thanks to him, he had Charlie Day, you know, running with new ideas, and he decided to do a reshoot. He wrote this character in there and put it out there, and I auditioned for it, and it was great. It was a great funny bit, and we made this bit into a big humongous bit. But I knew, looking back, I knew I had to do something, because it could be easily done, but I knew the other people that were going out for it weren't going to do this little bit. And I'll do it now, but it's not going to ruin anything from the film. But I knew they weren't going to want me to do it in the film, but I knew I would get them doing that. And it's basically, you know, doing this. And it's funny, I always get a laugh from that, from anybody. It's a move that the Three Stooges would always do, but you never see it now. And it's like Christopher Walken said, you got to show them something that's it's going to get them, you know? It's like, you know, you're going out there fishing for a whale, but you better have something solid. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to use that if I get casted into it, but I knew I would pull them in and kind of tweaking it a little bit at the end and showing them something different that I knew everybody was thinking, but we're not going to do it in the auditioning because it was too silly. But I took that chance, you know, roll of a dice. And it worked out.
Yeah.
Only because when I got casted to do it, I was in the makeup trailer, and Charlie Day, this is his big film debut, his project that he wrote and he starred in, and he came over to me and complimented me in the beginning, which, you know, all directors do, just to motivate them to doing something great. And he said, "Hey, how are you?" I'll try to do it, Charlie. You're a very strong actor. You know, I'm glad you're doing the project for us. And but don't do the cross-eyed. I go, no. I knew I just did that because. Just to get you, but no. I'll do the other takes and all that. Yeah. I had to lure you in, and it worked out. So that's what I mean, you know, doing something and taking a chance. And I think I'm the only one to take that chance because I was thinking about getting into everybody else's head, and I go, oh, I know they're thinking it, but you know, nobody did it, and I did it because that's the only way to get the laugh, to get them in there. But it was too bizarre and far out. You know, to do something like that. So
yeah.
So I got casted into doing this wonderful film, and they have a plethora of stars in there. You know, you got Jason Bateman, Jason Sudeikis. This is Ray Liotta's last film. You have John Malkovich. You know, everybody in there. Ken Jeong is one of the stars in there, and I don't want to spoil anything, but. It worked out because my first scene that we shot, I play a doctor and I'm supposed to come in and say something, and it worked out because after a couple of takes, Charlie Day came up to me and said, "Hey, you're on my team." I was like, okay, what does that mean? I was like, well, okay.
It sounds good.
Yeah. I was like, I literally thought I was on his team. But that day I was just riding the wave of being on his team and maybe some future other projects because you know he's a big name in this town, and and a great talent. That guy's a genius, you know. We shot it, and what that means is you're on my team means great take. And we were able to do it. And you better hit a home run on the first take on something like this because then they'll start questioning you. So I was in a good place after the first take. And then the second take of something else, we were moving on to something else. And he pretty much gave me the whole platform to do whatever I want. He goes, yeah, just go and have fun with this. You're going to hold the camera like this, you know, making it look like something else. And do it and just, you know, have fun. I was like, yeah, okay, Charlie Day. And I was like messing with him. I was like, being shot out of a cannon, like naked, you know, showing my ass to the world, right? Yeah, you want that? You want that? He goes, no, not really, but, you know, just have fun. So I did, and it worked out, I think. You know, we'll see. But, you know, after... we shot that. I think I got one of the background girls an upgrade, and because I used her within the scene, but I had all the background people come over to me and go, "Hey, what's your Instagram, man? You are so funny. You are so funny." So when you can get that acknowledgement from people on the set, ooh, maybe you're onto something. We'll find out, you know, when the film comes out. But I had such a ball, you know, just walking away that day, and I was like, oh. I think I touched on something, you know, because they let me loose, and it was pretty much me improvising the whole scene and making it work. But things were coming to me, you know. I was feeling it. I was like, whoa, all right, let me take it this way. Let me take it this way. Let me take it. I felt like the captain of the ship, you know, riding it. It was so exciting. I was like, that's what filming is all about, having a good time. It's like a party, It's amazing. It's truly amazing. Fool's Paradise, coming out to theaters near you, May 12th. Everybody, go! It's going to be amazing.
What a great promotion for it. Yeah. Well, before I start to move towards something approaching a wrap-up, was there anything else that you wanted to say? And even if it's, as I say, stuff from earlier that you want to jump back to?
Oh, no, I think we covered everything. I think in life, you should appreciate every moment that you have on this planet because, man, it's short. So whatever you want to do, go for it. Man, and have fun. Enjoy life at the highest level. And that's what life is about. We have two purposes, to love and be loved, and the rest of everything else is just enjoying your experiences with one another.
Beautiful. I know we'd spoken off mic about the fact that you wanted to, or you hoped that some of what you said would speak to actors and budding actors out there, but I think you've just put it perfectly that actually everything we've spoken about over the last hour or so has been far more general than that, and something that can speak to everyone. That we all need to live every moment and seize those opportunities. You kept talking about the luck that you've had, but actually it's moments that you've seen and you've grabbed and you've done things with. And I feel so blessed to have just been able to listen to your stories for the last hour or so. So thank you so much for sharing them. It's been a real joy.
Thank you so much for having me.